Hi guys, what is going on? Time for another video. Last time I was really happy with the result of the statue I draw, and I kind of wanted to make another similar project. And so I chose a really famous one. It's the so-called Laocoon group. And the story behind it is, by the way, the statue is really old, so there are some parts missing, but the story is it goes back to the war about Troy. And the story tells that the Greeks got defeated by the Trojan people, and the Greeks were retracing, but as a present they left the Trojan horse. It was like a present from the gods, or for their gods. And the Trojan people, they wanted to drag it in. There was only one guy, and his name is Laocoon, and he didn't trust the Greek people. So he seems to be a smart guy, because everybody knows, like, inside the Greek people there were like Greek warriors only waiting for the Trojan people to go asleep so they can sneak out of the horse and get an advantage, kill those people. So why the Trojan people were hesitating, what are we doing right now with the horse? He was just throwing a spear against this horse, and the spear kind of destroyed by that. And the Greek gods sent two water snakes from the sea, because they were standing at the coast, at the beach. And the two snakes were taking him and his two sons. And this seemed to be like a sign of the gods take the present back in, like inside the city walls, and that's what the Trojan people did after this. But the statue is about exactly that scene. The father Laocoon, who is a priest, and his two sons killed by two water snakes, or like still entangled in the fight. And I really like this. It's super complex. You have to really follow the composition, you have to understand the anatomy, and I'm also using a new medium, charcoal. This time we're not using graphite or pencils, we're using charcoal, where the color is even more black, you have more contrast, and I'm really happy with the result. In the end, or in the beginning, I thought like I cannot be as detailed as with pencil, so this will be quicker. In the end, the whole drawing took like 25 hours, and I found out that I actually can do also very fine details with charcoal. And as you can see, like, this is the length of charcoal pencil where I started out, and this is after one drawing where I ended up. So let's see how this all happened. I am really happy to show you, and let's jam. And here we go with the first drawing. As a preparation, I was making a gesture drawing. You normally should do that all the time, just for practicing, warming up, and also get an understanding where you're going to. Understand what the composition is, understand for this reference where the sons are standing compared to the main protagonist, Laocoon. Understand in what ways the two snakes are wrapping around. And you can, when you're starting out with a big picture, always looking back to this one, which will really help you. So I'm starting out with a hard pencil to make the same gesture drawing like I was doing before, and putting it on this paper. I learned from the gesture drawing already some aspects, like I was making Laocoon a little bit too big, so I cut off the feet, so I knew that this time. I adjusted it, and now it was still a close call because the head is very close to the edge of the paper, but it still worked out. So just really quickly drawing the snakes and the humans into it, the persons, and I'm already switching to charcoal. And I am using here, I got a art map by Castle Art as a gift, and there was like 3 charcoal pencils, and they were in hard, medium, and soft. The hard is for the lightest gray, the medium gray tones you make with a medium, and the soft is for the darkest parts of shadow. And as you know, charcoal is really black, so it's already hard with the hard charcoal, no pun intended, to make the soft gray or light gray. So here I'm starting out, and I'm almost already finished with a left boy. Because this is the first time I was using charcoal, and before I started I was watching some videos about charcoal technique, and what I saw, especially in portrait, was that they were first using the darkest charcoal pencil to only fill out the areas with the darkest shadow, and then used a piece of paper to smudge it all over the face, and then use an eraser where you could, because also on this castle art map was a kneadable eraser, and you can knead it and make really pointy tips, so you can erase very precisely. And you use it like a pencil, so you can erase the highlights, and you work out the negative spaces instead of what you're normally doing with the pencil. But it still has some issues, this technique, because it's like you smudge it once and then you have already charcoal on the paper, so you really need to pay attention that you don't smudge again with this piece of paper which already has charcoal, because you're just messing around with your picture. So I switched the technique because also a misconception in the beginning was I thought I could not draw as precise as I thought I could with pencils. So I thought like this is the right technique to do it. But as I found out that you can really be precise, you just need to always sharpen your pencils. As I said, I switched the strategy, so I'm normally just drawing in the medium gray tones. Then I was erasing the highlights with a kneadable eraser, and then I was drawing in the darkest core shadows. And this made it look really like three-dimensional, realistic, and I kind of feel like I'm a person for details, because yeah, I thought I will make this drawing quick, and it turned out in the end that it took me 25 hours. One big tip I would love to have gotten earlier is about shading. Like you define from where the light source comes, therefore you also decide where the shadow is, but what you need to know is that the darkest parts of the shadow is really close to the highlight, and that is because of reflected light. Just check out the upper right arm from the viewer's perspective of Laocoon. You can see reflected light, and you can see the core shadows. So and this makes it look really realistic. The same thing with a snake, where I'm right now drawing around. You see the highlight is in the middle of the snake, and the dark lines are like the core shadows due to reflected light on the bottom. And it also gives you the feeling that you really can see where the spine of the snake is, because the snake is not just a wobbly cylinder wrapping around. You have muscles, you have a skeleton, you have the spine, which you can see. And I really try to transport it with this picture. So as you can see, also in this map there were other tools like the blending stumps I'm using to smudge the charcoal, and also there was another smudging tool with the brown tips you can see here, and you can also find it in the subscription only content on the Coil article. You have I always post pictures about the equipment I used, and they are also for smudging. What you are using it for is for really thin line for smudging, because the tips, the brown tips, are out of rubber, and one has a little bit bigger tip and the other one is really precise. So since when I'm drawing those clothing and when you don't smudge it, you see still the structure of the paper, and you want to really smudge those thin lines, and this tool is perfect for that. Like even the kneadable eraser would be too thick, and when you once press it on the paper, since it's kneadable, it softens, and you know, it won't be as sharp, the form of the eraser as before. So here I'm already about to finish Laocoon's right foot from the viewer's perspective. It's an interesting story is that this statue is so old that like parts fell off, and like the recently found part of this statue was the lower arm, which is like raised from Laocoon high. Before, people were thinking like, okay, how does this statue would look like, and his upper arm was really like stretched apart, but then they found this part and they know they had to change the position. So here already I am drawing the second son, who tries to get this snake off his right ankle, and like the composition of the whole statue is just so good, because you see everybody is fighting to get off the snakes. You can see both heads of snakes are like biting into the bodies, like they are entangling every single person. You can see the sons are looking for help to his father, who has like both hands to fight it off. So the maker of the statue, and I don't know if it is known who this made, had just such a good plan of what he was doing. So I am ending here the last strokes, and in the reference there was a black background, so I was applying this as well to get closer to the reference, and it gives a nice contrast to the rest. I hope you enjoyed what you just saw. Took a lot of time for me, and I need to find a frame to put it up on the wall, because it will definitely go up on my wall. I will have like a little statue section where I can put the David and Laocoon with his sons up there. And I think that's it for the Greek statues for now. I'm sure I will go back to them sometimes, because I had a blast. And one last thing I recommend is, because the paper doesn't bind the charcoal, so it just lies there, and to make it like stick on the paper, you can use fixating spray, or you can just use hairspray. That works the same way. Just a tip after that, and I will catch you in the next video, so see ya.